Hello, friends. Starting with something very interesting today. Uh, since last couple of months, even more than that, there have been consistent queries about like how students should prepare the wealth plan after they complete level 2 exam. And yes, of course, you don't require any formal coaching for that. So I thought let us make a video so that it is helpful to everyone. Like how do you approach the wealth plan, right? You don't need to spend money on that, of course. It's very easy. But only thing is that the guideline is missing, the framework is missing. Now, first of all, you would be provided some data by the board, or else you would have collected some data after the level 1 examination, or like you can collect your own data and you have to make the plan. You can confirm with the board how do you progress about that. Now it shouldn't be so long, it shouldn't be of 100 to 100 pages. It should be a summarized version about how do you help your client to create wealth for the desired goals. So first you should write intro. I'll scroll through the pages slowly so that you can pause the video and catch up with the plan. Now this is not the perfect plan. First of all, there is no plan or no wealth plan which can be perfect. This has been created by one of my student, which I'm showing here. There's just a guideline. There is no need to copy as well, because then you will be stuck in the what you can say plagiarism kind of thing. So first it was an introduction about what is wealth plan, how does it go, about your firm that you can introduce. The next is, because wealth plan is mostly concerned about multiplying clients wealth and goal achievement, of course. So you would have a properly written investment policy. You can take help of so many AI tools, take help of internet, do some paraphrasing, and you can create a very nice investment policy statement. This single important statement, reason behind how do you invest your clients money, that is very important. Like all the professional courses like CFP, CWM, CFA, everywhere, creating a proper investment policy is really very important. So focus on that. Now, privacy policy, ethical part, confidentiality, because the client is sharing a lot of critical data with you, which he shouldn't be sharing with others. It has come to you. So, what you have to ensure is that you keep the data secret. You know it very well. So, not detailing further, but yes, you should be writing something really good about privacy policy so that the client is assured of secrecy of his data. They're not going to share with anybody. Then there comes the simplistic part. You list down the personal details of the client. Then you list down the details of the dependents. Then goal statement, right? If you should make it, I think. Uh, then you create a very good goal statement wherein you list down all the things that client uh, wants to do or he might be willing to do. Then income expense statement. These are some of the very common statements which has been created by all the students so far. Network statement. This is important because what he has right now will be reflected here, and then we are the one who are going to help them to achieve where they want to be. But this is the base from which we need to start. Okay, so this is the network statement. Right, assets and liabilities. You have done it in level 1. Okay, then asset allocation. Now, before you prepare the asset allocation, you can also produce a risk questionnaire where you can try to identify the risk profile of the client, and then you can present it. Here the student has taken it later on, that's perfectly okay. Sequence is not a problem here in this case, but this is the model asset allocation he has set for the client. That means those goals which are short term in nature will follow the first one, right? Then those who are like longer period plans, they will be the second one, and after that, like it will be in a different asset allocation, right? So that is how you can create the asset allocation. You can also create the asset allocation considering his age, like up to 40 he would be investing in a particular pattern, then post that there will be lower risk in the portfolio. But yes, creating a proper asset allocation, right, which you have studied in level 1, level 2, we have studied so many portfolio management strategies, right? So try to bring all those here, but creating asset allocation is important for us. And then insurance planning. See, whatever be the wealth plan, insurance is important. So check which kind of insurance this client has, essentially life insurance and the asset insurance, whatever properties he has. Is there any adequate insurance or not? That's what we need to check, and we have to list down. Now, interesting, estate planning. That is also an important goal in wealth management. And you can see in level 1 we do have a long section on estate planning. So it is important because the whatever wealth they have right now, whatever will be left over, that is to be managed. So write something about estate planning. And then this is the summarized version. So we, as I said, we don't have to produce long calculations. We don't have to like submit any Excel file supporting all the calculations. But yes, you have to do that, and then you summarize it this way. Like, what is the current situation about emergency? Then what is the current situation about their housing? Then what is the current situation about their car? And what you are suggesting them to do. So, like, see, it is the current situation. Then what is the plan we have in our mind for the client? And then client must accept, and then we implement it. So likewise for all the different goals, right, we have created wealth accumulation plan. So you can write as many number of goals as you mentioned earlier, but don't keep it only 2 3 4 because that won't clear. So have the reasonable number of goals. And retirement planning being very important, and also like wealth accumulation, achieving some extraordinary wealth can also be brought in here. Tax is always important, right? So likewise gifting, charity. After creating a lot of wealth, people would also like to have the philanthropy as one of their important goals. So don't forget to bring in gifting and charity, and also try to make it realistic. Doesn't look like purely hypothetical. So that's what you have to, simple thing you have to ensure. And parents, parental responsibility. If your uh, plan or say the client has parents, then definitely parental responsibility, their long-term care, that is going to be important. And there is one more thing that we have to add necessarily, because the changing life, changing structure requires long-term care planning for self. Now, what is long-term care? You can Google it up, and probably I would create a separate video because that is increasingly important. What is happening in current in my city or city? I'll highlight that. I've done a lot of research on that. And yes, then ratios. We studied all these things in level 1. Like in our examination also they asked. So try to cover up good number of ratios. Like I'm just scrolling through, you can look at that, like which are the ratios the student has covered. Purely these ratios would be created based on the income statement, yeah, cash flow statement that you have created, along with the net worth statements. You can compare and find out these ratios. Having created these ratios, as I said, this should have been earlier. This is a successful plan, of course. This should have been earlier, according to me. So this is the risk profile. This should be uh, the base for suggesting your client the asset allocation that he wants to go for. So this is very important. So create at least 10 questions here. You can search on Google, you'll find out many questionnaires. Right? 10 questions, according to me, are good in number. Right? And then you ask your client to sign. So you can just keep some space here to sign. Then some of the question answers that he has mentioned, that's purely optional. You can write some more things instead of this. Declaration. Now this is very important. Disclaimer, declaration, that's important. And then you can conclude your plan with the thank you page or so. So that's how it's very simple. So I'm giving you not the plan which you can exactly copy, but yes, so far, because like many students are doing CWM nowadays, they are studying at their own. So what they are struggling with is preparation of the final plan, and they are willing to pay also, but it's not required. You can easily create. So I've given you the sample, I've given you the base. Based on that, you can prepare. And if you need any help, you can always mail me. You can always call me. I'm available. Happy to help. But if you've got anything else which I should create, you can always let me know. See you in the next video. Bye.